Well, hello there, good people. It's your boy Johnny J, and welcome to another fun photo adventure. This week we dive into an epic black and white lighthouse with the sea crashing all around it. Stick around and I'll run you through my whole workflow. My name's Johnny Spencer, Johnny J for short, and I'm a landscape and nature photographer for the National Parks Service here in Australia, who I've been working for over 24 years. I have a real passion for being out in nature with the camera, and I've decided that I want to share all that photography experience that I've learned over many years of trial and error with as many photographers as possible. We're down in a little place called Kiama on the New South Wales south coast, and the swell is absolutely huge at the moment. The swell that's running is massive. It's crazy here at the moment. I just can't believe how big it is. And I found this nice view from this little beach across to the Kiama lighthouse over there. And what's really awesome about it is the white swells hitting up against this black rock headland and looking absolutely awesome. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking long lens, zooming in, getting some of those big swell, freezing the motion while it's crashing up against those rocks. And we've got about an hour till sunset now, and I think it's just going to be perfect. We've got some beautiful side light shaping our lighthouse there behind us, and let's get set up, because now's the time to start pulling the trigger and locking in some of these shots, because this is so good. I'm so excited. By the way, it's freezing. I've got my jacket on. Just last week, it was like hot weather, shorts and t-shirt, and now I'm running around with a big coat on and I'm cold. So yeah, we may be doing some of these ones, you know, the ones that keep us warm. But anyway, enough of that. Let's go. Alrighty, so we're all set up here, and just as I suspected, it's looking really cool. That wave's washing up there, it's just incredible. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the intervalometer on, because it's so random every time, you know, the surf hits the rocks up there. It's going to be hard for me to like capture that, so I'm just going to let my camera's intervalometer, you know, just take frame after frame. So if I go into the shooting menu, you see you got to go and turn intervalometer on. 2 seconds, that's just the starting time when I press the shutter button, how long before it starts. And then say, let's do 2 seconds in between, 990 images, and that's fine. And then if I hit OK now and I go back out to my menu, you can see 2 seconds, 990 images. So settings wise, I'm on about 1/500th. I want to freeze that motion out there. I'm on 5.6, and that'll be fine. And what I might do, because the light's going to go down over time as well, so I'm going to bump up the ISO just a little bit. So it's about 0.7 of a stop over at the moment, the meter's saying. So 1/500, 5.6, ISO 200, intervalometer timer on, and we will just let it go. So there's your 2 second timer, and we are away. If you're really enjoying this content, I do this every week. I'm a landscape and nature photographer and loves to share all my photo adventures. So if you're enjoying this video, if you like lighthouses, which I absolutely do, and if you love black and white photography, why don't you think about subscribing? It's free. It's just like following on other social media channels, and I'd really, really appreciate your support. I look forward to catching up in more videos and back to our regular scheduled program. So one thing about this method is you're going to end up with lots of photographs, but that's okay. You know, we can delete most of them. We'll just keep the ones where the surf's absolutely crashing up in our shot there, and the ones we can merge together. So I think there's two reasons why 1/500th is a good shutter speed. One is it is quite windy and I have got a long lens on, okay? That's one reason. And the second reason is I definitely want to freeze that motion of the waves hitting the rocks out there. So yeah, I've already, like, most of those shots that it's taken now, those 20 shots, they're probably all throwawayers, deleters, but that's okay. So yeah, now it's just a matter of a bit of a waiting game, to be honest. This is a waiting game until I think, you know, the light's got low enough. We've got some good cloud out there behind the lighthouse at the moment, which is nice. It's adding that little bit of extra detail. I think this is going to be a long panorama crop as well, to be honest. But now it's just a matter of waiting till we get some good surf. There's a big one going to hit now, actually. Looks like it's going to hit the rocks there now. So yeah, it got a big explosion in the left. It's just a really nice, easy way, hands-free way. You know, when you're taking a shot over and over again of something happening, You know, storage is cheap these days. Just chuck in a big memory card and you can always, like I said, just delete the ones you don't need. And the interval timers are really, really handy for things like this, I find. The main thing I need to keep an eye on is that once the light really starts to drop, that my exposure probably could change a little bit. I probably could have used auto ISO, but I feel like because my intervals aren't going to be that long, maybe, you know, 10 or 15 minutes in between compositions, when I find I've got enough of that water exploding, I'm not too worried about the exposure changing too much. There's no clouds out there. The sun's out nice at the moment, so that should be fine. It's absolutely cold. That's it, star jumps. I'm freezing. I'll be back. All right, I'm warming up. You know what, honestly, it's this behind the scenes stuff that landscape and nature photographers do that the people like you don't often see. So this is the stuff, the real stuff that happens when you're out in the field, man. All right, so let's do it. All right, let's get back to the photography. All right, so we shot about 500 images so far and it's looking really good. I did notice the exposures did start to change a little bit. So what I've done, I've bumped the ISO up to about 320 now. And that's just stopping that dark headland in shadow there really starting to clip. So that's the only change I've made. I'm just going to keep shooting actually. I think I like this composition. One thing that has changed out there I've noticed is the sun's come down quite low and there's some pine trees on the back side of the lighthouse that are starting to throw shadow on the lighthouse now. So I'm really happy that we got those shots a bit earlier without that shadow. I'll definitely be using those lighthouse images from a bit earlier on, I think. Where that shadow isn't on the lighthouse. I think it looks a lot more pleasing, but you know, we've got heaps of options now. There's been some massive waves, absolutely hit out there. So I'm loving what we've got so far. I think this is gonna make a nice sort of 16:9 type crop, a longer sort of crop, and it's gonna turn out nicely. But at the moment, saying, you know, we've got about 350 images left. The light is probably almost done out there. You can see how low it is behind me. But other than that, I think this has been fun. It's going to work out really nice and I can't wait to get this one together. So I feel like we're on the end of it now and I look forward to putting this one together, and I'm still puffing from my little run over there, which means I've warmed up. So that's a good thing. All right, I'm going to make a coffee. I'm going to edit these photos and I'll see you on the computer. All right, good people, so here we are. Here's our final black and white image here. Here's the color version, and this was made up of all these different photographs here. You can see there's lots of different ones here. I've taken all different parts, but I think the black and white turned out really nicely. You can see I did get rid of all the cars and that and just left the people at the end. I think that's a much cleaner composition. Let me just show you in Photoshop what we're looking at here. Here's where we started, way down the bottom here with this layer, and then we just laid in all those other areas. You can see this one's on the left there, this one's the splash over top, and you can see one thing that is cool is these little adjustments I've done here with the levels and color contrast, because when I brought the photos in they were a bit they weren't matching, and you can see if I was to turn this off you can see how much darker the image underneath is. So one thing that's really cool here is if you use this little square with this down arrow and put the adjustment layer above the layer you want to affect, it's only going to affect that layer directly below it, or so you can see these two layers here are only affecting this layer here, so that layer there. So that's a really cool technique. And then I've laid in a few more, that's for that area, and that's our bird up there, and a few other little adjustments there and bits and pieces, and that's the final image where we removed everything. And then back with to our black and white conversion here in Lightroom. So really happy how this came out. I think this turned out really nicely, better than what I was actually hoping for, and I just love the human element here. It just gives the spray a lot more scale, and I think that looks awesome. So great final image. All right, good people, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this photo adventure, please show me some love. Drop me a comment below. Let me know if you like the black and white or the color version. Give it a thumbs up. That really helps the algorithm. And as always, if you're not subscribed, please do. I'd really appreciate it. It's free. It's just like following on other social media networks. And as always, stay inspired, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.